The next one, which we're ramping up here. The next one I'm talking about is ESports Boxing Club. And this is a game that I'm personally excited for. I'm excited for this game more than just about any game, period. So please keep that in mind with what I say next, because I am a huge combat sports fan. Boxing, MMA. I'm not lifelong. I started liking boxing around 2010. The first fight I watched that made me a fan, really, it's going to sound weird, but it was the Floyd and Victor Ortiz fight. Just because of the drama around it, and then seeing the larger-than-life Floyd figure, I looked him up past then, liked him. He's not my favorite boxer. My favorite boxer is Sergio Martinez. Maivia. Yeah, that was my favorite, dude. He was awesome. Look at the Paul Williams knockout. You'll love it. But anyways, esports boxing is supposed to be the next great boxing game. Fight Night Champion, of course, greatest fucking boxing game ever to exist. Greatest sports narrative story ever told, period. Every game, people can say whatever they want about 2K's manager career mode or my career. The real GOAT of sports stories in video games is champion mode in Fight Night Champion. Greatest. And it was a sports game not afraid to be fucking mature. The fucking story mode starts with you fighting skinheads in prison bare knuckle. Fucking nuts. But yeah, so this is supposed to be, I mean, and they haven't shied from it. This is the spiritual successor. Not that I don't know if anybody who worked on that game works for this company, but they're aiming for that type of glory with this game. And it looks great. From the footage I've seen, the roster looks fucking crazy. Shouts to them for that. I mean, it's clearly made by people who love both boxing and boxing video games, and they love this boxing video game. So there's no denying that. I mean, they released a Deontay Wilder fucking trailer. I mean, some people would think his stock maybe went down, but I don't think so personally. A quick sidebar for my boxing opinion. I don't think Deontay Wilder is washed by any means. I think Tyson Fury is a physical specimen. And it's funny, people want to make jokes about like, this is what a real athlete looks like. But it's like, this is a pure physical specimen with boxing. Because he made Deontay Wilder meet a person that was too big for him to put down. And that's, Tyson Fury, of course, had all the talent in the world to do his part too. But it was that perfect combination with his body as well, because I really feel like if he was any smaller of a man, Wilder would have fucking ended him. I mean, that one punch in their last fight sent shockwaves through his fucking body like Homer Simpson. It was ripples. It's fucking hilarious. It was like really the Dredrick Tatum Homer fight. But Homer was a really great boxer who also did well and knocked Wilder the fuck out. I mean, but I don't think Wilder's washed at all. I think there's something to say about a man that big that can maneuver that way and do all that stuff. So it's just what it is. And seeing Wilder in this game, it looked like the real Deontay Wilder. I mean, the footage looked great. I don't know. I mean, they feel like they have the pulse on the fan base of boxing. They just seem to be hiring more and more talent. I mean, it seems like they're really trying to make it legitimate. And that's great. It's great. And that's why this is disappointment level 2, which is I have faith it will be great. I don't think it's a safe bet at all. I do have faith it will be great though. And the problem with that also is I feel like the game almost has too much ambition. And it sounds crazy to say, but that roster's fucking crazy. And they seem to still be trying to do all that stuff while having due dates of like this year and shit. And I just have to be honest, like, unless they have like the crazy brink of technology, I've seen their little thing that people stand in. I've seen that before, but it's like, this stuff takes time. And I think there's a beauty to the small amount of fighters that Fight Night Champion had. Like, no one got bored with those fighters. And I just feel like there's got to be so much of an issue with trying to get so many egos. I mean, I always remember that story. I think apparently EA approached Floyd about being in Fight Night, And he was like, only if you give me $4 million and you make the champion mode about me. I think that's what happened. I mean, I could totally be wrong, but I really swear I heard that story somewhere. But yeah, I just feel like that's always an issue. I mean, they clearly got Canelo, they got Crawford, they got a lot of people, but I just feel like it's going to be issues sometimes talking to those legends. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're working out some sort of like royalty deal, which is, you know, that probably might be a problem in and of itself if they give too much money away trying to acquire names, hoping it, you know, it offsets with the purchases. And it's like you might lose off on your revenue giving so much away to all these fighters. But that's not even to say that they're doing that. I don't know what's happening with it, but I feel like there's a lot of focus on the ambition of the roster, and I don't really think too many people are going ham on all these older fighters, you know, like I get it. It just seems like maybe too much, especially when this is clearly not a AAA title. And I don't think anybody would be mad at them with a significantly reduced roster, personally. And this is just something that appears to be a problem. It's not a real problem. It's just something I noticed that I feel is worth a note. I also feel like maybe there's a little too much attention to detail. They talk a lot about so many different things with the feint system and everything like that. And I just feel like, I mean, I know I'll be able to handle it. I'm not saying it'll be too complex. I just feel like that stuff can be so off-putting because it just feels like you're talking about jargon and like shit with your techniques with the graphics, and like people just want to know how the punches look when they hit the dude in the head, and they want to see how the faces look. Like people are not concerned with that, and if they are, that's great. I mean, I guess there's always going to be people concerned with every detail, but I just feel like they're throwing so many things with the graphics, throwing so much with the stuff about de-aging the boxers that no one gives a fuck about. I was playing with de-aged Roy Jones in 2011, and I wasn't like, this don't feel like an authentic Roy body. No one gives a fuck. I mean, I'll be honest. It'll be cool when he has an authentic Roy body, but no one cares. We just want the person with Roy Jones Jr. at the top to look like him in the face and have somewhat comparable stamina, power, and speed. Like, that's about it. It's about all we really look for. I feel like also they are really like, when I looked for stuff to look into the game and what was going on with the game, I noticed, I can't say a lack of transparency because their footage has been given to different media journalists, but I feel like whenever I look at a video of someone explaining the updates, it's never someone connected to the studio. It's always like a YouTuber that seems to have like an insider, or the studio pass them footage, and they just give updates on the Twitter like they're the broker to the audience from the studio. And I just don't fuck with that. Honestly, I want to see the guys, the people talking, you know. I want to see the guys or girls. I want to see the employees talking. The other modes have been only inferred. I mean, we've seen Eddie Strongman fucking punching the same random dude who I know is a real boxer, so sorry, dude. But it's just, you know, I don't even think there's a ref. I think that's an option. You can take the ref out, but you know, there isn't a ref in the ring in a lot of the modes. It looks okay. And I'm sure, I have faith it'll be good. But there's just a lot of talk, a lot of flash, you know, bringing in specialty sports announcers for no fucking reason. We're not 7-year-olds. Like, you don't, I'm really over, I really wish game designers and companies realize this, that like, we don't need the ceremony anymore. You know, all of your people, all of your fans are like older now. You know, especially boxing fans. I don't even know how many young boxing fans there are. There's got to be a demographic like older for boxing fans, and like we don't need to like, oh, the ring boxers here announcing the game like it's a real event. Like, just show us the footage, bro. And I have this opinion about a lot of games. There are a lot of games still trying to do that shit from like 10 years ago, where you set it up like you're really the star. You can step into you can do it. Like, shut the fuck up. Just say, this is the game. This is what we have. You can do this in the game. We know we're not fucking superheroes. I knew I wasn't joining the fucking Premier League with that one fucking character that was terrible game after game after game, and all I wanted to do was have him fail out of the Premier League in his story. I remember in the second journey with whatever the fuck that dude's name was. I think Alex Hunter, that was his fucking name. I made his friend, who was the dickhead, succeed while he failed at everything. I purposely made him fail at every fucking chance. It was hilarious. I didn't even finish it to see what would happen, but it was funny to me. And I made his friend look ridiculous. Like, he picked up a drug habit. Like, that was the fun of the journey. Honestly, had nothing to do with feeling engrossed in the game. Because that stuff is stupid, and no one believes that. So just tell us what's in the game. So, yeah, that's why I feel like I have faith in esports boxing, but there's a lot of talk. A lot of smoke and mirrors talk. Potentially smoke and mirrors talk. But I have faith. I think that has more to do with maybe a disconnect, honestly, with the internet. But who can really connect to the internet unless you're like a part of it? If you're like doing a real job, it's hard to really hit that pulse. So that's fine with me.